All right, so over the last couple of weeks, we've been spending a lot of our time focusing on the basic construction ideas behind working or generating 3D models. Well, today we're going to kind of expand upon the tools that we've been learning and talk specifically about how we can take a very simple shape like a cylinder or a cube and expand that simple shape into something that's far more complex. Our conversation today is going to revolve around probably the most useful tool inside the entire system, and it's called the bevel tool. Before we go any further, I've placed a little gift for you guys on your desktop. It's a lovely image of a wine barrel. We're going to be using this wine barrel for our conversation today, so please make sure at the very least you recognize that it's on your desktop. Last week we spent a lot of time talking about how to create simple shapes, cylinders, cubes, torus. We're going to expand upon that a little bit today. So how went, or let me back up for a second. Let's take a look at what I've given you guys. I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to use this wine barrel here in a second. Let's load this in as a backdrop item. One of the things that you're going to find yourself doing a lot is working with backdrop items. Let's just jump into Modo. Walk me through the process of getting this image into Modo as a backdrop item. Add item, absolutely. So in the item list, we can go to the top right-hand corner of our interface, and in the Add Item pull-down menu, we're going to choose Backdrop Item. And this is the way that I showed you guys last week, and it's fine. This is a great way of working. It really, really is. Because down in the Properties tab, it's going to give you an opportunity in this image well to load in this backdrop item. Let me show you one other way of importing an image as a backdrop item. The guys down at Luxology are very aware that we often in the 3D world like to digitally kind of manipulate our data. We like to grab a hold of it and drag and drop it from a number of different places. Well, that drag and drop mentality has found its way into Modo. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I want to open up a new Finder window. And if you're new to the Mac, the Finder icon is this little guy down here. If you click on it, it will bring the Finder application to the foreground of your operating system. If you don't have a Finder window in front of you, at the top of the screen under the File pull-down menu, you can find New Finder Window. And I'm simply going to use this navigation shortcut to find myself to the desktop, and there's my wine barrel. So I have a Finder window on top, and Modo is directly behind it. And it really just as simple as dragging it from the Finder window into the OpenGL viewport. Boom. Pretty sure you can. Give it a go. And now we have a backdrop item already placed within inside of our scene.
Where do we get the barrel from?
Yeah, it's on the desktop with the computer in front of you. Since you're on your own laptop, that's not happening. I can put it on D2L if you really need it. Okay. So here's our little wine barrel. Now, last week, we spent a lot of time talking about how to make perfect circles. And making perfect circles and making perfect squares is a big part of kind of our nuts and bolts. It's what we do really well as 3D modelers. So I want to make a perfect circle because we want to start with a perfect simple shape and then edit that simple shape into something that's definitely far more complex. Help me out. How do I do it? Walk me through the steps. Perfect circle. How do I make one? Cylinder tool. Yep, let's go grab it real fast. This cylinder tool. I'll put my sides to 20 since we don't need to make a triangle at the moment. Okay. What's next? Click. Anywhere? Yeah. Click. Then what? Move the mouse cursor away from your tool handles. What's next? Hold Control. Then left click and drag. All right, rock and roll. And there's our perfect circle. Let me jump onto our mesh item here and begin to digitally manipulate this little element. So we're going to be creating a little wine barrel today, and it won't take too long for us to flesh out this shape together as a class. We're actually going to begin our operation today with this little circle. Okay? From meager beginnings can generate complex results.
Why doesn't your like grid show up?
Because I have it off. There's my grid. There's my grid. Now, what may be a really interesting thing to produce here is before we get started, ensuring that my backdrop item is precisely positioned inside of our three-dimensional universe. Where's the default location for all backdrop items? The origin, absolutely. And you can see that it's just chilling at the origin of my scene. If I orbit down a little bit, I can see the cross sections of the X and the Z axis right there. Okay. However, we want to have things at the origin, but we also want to make sure that we're modeling this efficiently and in a way that puts the model where we generally want this thing to go in future operations. We have to think like a chess player. We got to think 8 or 9 steps ahead of us. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry, can you say that again? It automatically goes to the origin. By definition, whenever we create a backdrop item, its default starting location is always going to be at the origin. The only opportunity for us to get it out of the origin is for us to physically select it and move it, which is what I want to do, because I think I want to have my wine barrel kind of sitting on what I'm going to call the ground, okay, on that XZ grid that you see on the screen here. We always want to model at the origin, but we often want to place things on top of the XZ as if they were sitting on the ground. It makes this asset more flexible in the future. Okay, so I think I'm just going to select that guy and fire off good old move tool and move it so that the bottom of my wine barrel is just chilling on the origin. And that's pretty close for me. Somewhere right around there I think is going to do me. All right, so now I'm ready to start working. I have my backdrop item placed where I want it, and I can begin manipulating this polygon to start forming my little wine barrel. Okay, so let's talk about what we need to do. Yeah, let's talk about what we need to do with this little polygon. Where should this polygon go? I love it. So we need to rotate it a little bit. We need to rotate it back along its local x-axis to make it look as though it's perpendicular to the, or parallel to the height of my wine barrel. Awesome. We're basically going to grow our entire wine barrel from this one circle using the bevel tool, and it's pretty great. So let's do the easy things first. I'm all about the low-hanging fruit, and this is definitely the low-hanging fruit of the day. Is there a way that I can rotate this object precisely 90 degrees along the x? Yeah.
Click where it says rotation X.
You got it. So we can numerically enter it in. That's an awesome way of working. Can't suggest that enough. Numerically enter it in. Wonderful. Yeah. Because you're in item mode. You're not in polygon mode. Yes. Same with you, Scott. Go into polygon mode. Polygon mode. Yeah. Good. Drop your tool. At the very top of your interface where it says vertices, edges, and polygons. That right there. And nothing happens. That's a good question. Try negative 90. When you're rotating your cylinder, you want to make sure that the direction that this polygon is facing the positive direction of the y-axis. So, in other words, up. Yeah. You're still not getting anything. Okay, let's take a look. What computer number are you? 7. Which direction are you trying to rotate your no, it's the Z. For you specifically, you want to rotate this along the Z. There we go. All right. All right. So it's really, really important that when we're looking at our cylinder from up top, that we can see the surface. If you're getting something that looks like this, okay, we have an issue, okay? It's facing the wrong way. From our conversation last week, what defines the surface direction? It's our computer science moment of the day. Kind of, a little bit. Does anyone remember the precise terminology? The normal. The surface normal defines the direction that this surface is facing inside of our universe. As we showed you last week, if you select your polygon, hit the O key, which brings open your viewport properties. In the visibility tab, there's an option here that says show selection normal. With that on, that little dotted line represents the direction this surface is facing inside of our three-dimensional scene. I need that surface normal facing up in order for this entire thing to work. You got to make sure that that object's selected. All right. Now, Chris and I were messing around with the roof of her Parthenon earlier, and she had an issue that I think is really worth pointing out. Somehow, the direction of her roof got flipped. The surface direction was 180 degrees of what we needed it to be. Her surface direction looked like that, or the polygon was facing down. There's a really easy shortcut that allows us to reverse the surface normals. You got to select your polygon, and then hit the F key, F for flip, and it's going to reverse the surface normal on your polygon. Okay, now that we get our polygon facing the positive direction of the y-axis, I can start modeling this, but I'd really like to have this piece of geometry here in the exact same location as my reference item. How do I do that? Move it. I want precision, though. Yeah, there you go, Nate. Good job. Center selected. And in this particular situation, I'm going to choose all to center my polygon along the X, Y, and Z axes simultaneously. There it is. Aha! Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, let's do a little bit of deductive reasoning here, because you can see that maybe our backdrop image is not precisely centered around the x-axis. I know beyond any reasonable doubt that that highlighted polygon is centered along the x-axis, because I just told it to, right? So let's get our backdrop image kind of generally driving the way I want it to exist inside of our scene. Is there a way that I could see through my backdrop image to the grid behind it? What is it? How do I do it? Transparency. So with that backdrop image selected, the transparency channel in the Properties tab will allow you to make it a little bit more see-through. And now I can see the relative position of my backdrop item to my grid, and I'm just going to do what I hate doing, and that's eyeball it. Drives me crazy to eyeball things, but it is what it is. And I'm in the ballpark. I want to keep... Huh? I kind of hang out at 70. That's what makes it easy for my brain to see 70, but everyone's going to approach this a little bit differently. Okay, so I'm happy camper now. Now, that polygon is centered around the origin, and my backdrop item looks like it's pretty much centered around that polygon, so life is good. I've aligned both of these elements to each other, and now I can start modeling. Okay? 3D modeling is kind of like painting your room. Has anyone painted their house or their room? Like 3/4 of the paint work is prep, right? You gotta tape things and mask things and clean the wall, and there's a lot of work before you actually get to paint the darn thing, right? 3D modeling is very similar in that sense. We do a lot of prep work when we're aligning our backdrop images, and then we actually get to model. Okay. Life is good. So let's start working with the bevel tool, because I want to grow a shape from this very, very simple circle. Let's make sure it's the same size as the bottom of our barrel. I'm going to scale it up until I'm close. Somewhere, I want to pick a side. I want to pick the left side of my barrel to work on. Somewhere right around in there. It doesn't have to be exact, but as close as you can make it. And now we can start working with the bevel tool. We're going to use this backdrop image basically like a profile, a tracing guide for our little wine barrel. Yeah, Andy, what's up?
I lost.
You lost. Where did I lose you?
Well, my backdrop item isn't in the center of everything because I selected this and I told it to go.
Yep.
There it goes.
Yeah.
So then.
And wow, your interface is super dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do this, Andy. Let's go up here to the Moto Preferences. Very top of the screen where it says Moto Preferences. There we go. I want you to go down where it says OpenGL. OpenGL and turn. Oh, it's already on. Okay, close out of here. Hit the O key on your keyboard. Yeah, GL background, let's turn this to gradient or none. A little bit lighter. Awesome. Okay. In addition, did you do something to the image here upon import? Why does it look so bright and everyone else's in mine does not?
I have no clue.
Okay. That's interesting. Can you go over to the Images tab? Yeah. Can you click on that one for me? Okay. Someone's been messing with this. See where it says Alexa right there? Change that to default. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Mission accomplished. Now things are looking the way it's supposed to look. Okay. You can close that window now. We're done with this. Okay. Yeah. And now,
How to center this?
yeah, you do it by eye. Do it left. You can just use it, select it in the item mode, and then move it to match the location of the grid. Ms. Lopez. Yeah, you know what's important here is that you just go in, select it, and move it. Okay, move it left and right. That's fine. Sometimes we just got to do it by eye. The backdrop image at times is going to have to be adjusted to match the location of where we want to model. Little bit. So we got to turn on overlay. If your grid goes away behind it, hit the O key, go into the drawing and control section, and just ensure that overlay drawing is turned on up here at the top. Then also down at the bottom, under background imagery, that overlay is turned on. You're welcome. Okay. With that said, let's start modeling it, okay? All of our tools inside of Modo require us to start with an initial selection. We're going to start with a polygonal selection. I started with my, my guy selected down there, and we're going to work with the bevel tool. Now, the bevel tool is pretty great, but it does kind of work off of a slightly different paradigm than the move tool, or the rotate tool, or the scale tool. With the bevel tool, we go over to our interface, and we're just going to simply left-click on the tool to turn it on. And it's right here in our Basics tab. Keyboard shortcut B, B as in bevel, B as in boy, B as in Bravo. Now with the Move tool, you clicked on it and you immediately saw tool handles, right? And we know, or we often kind of know that whenever we see tool handles that we're influencing our scene. Well, with the bevel tool and with most of our edit tools inside of Modo, it requires us to left-click in the viewport to apply or to activate that tool to the selected piece of geometry, okay? So I turn the tool on, and then I left-click to apply the tool. Once I left-click, you can see that I get my tool handles, and there's two of them. There's a blue one and a red one. The blue and the red one are really nothing more than kind of an interactive widget that controls two very important values in our tool options. One's called Shift, and one's called Inset. The blue handle is going to control the shift value, and the red handle is going to control the inset. Let's see what these two do. It's pretty neat. Yeah, inset. So when I shift it, check it out. I can grow my little circle. That's pretty cool. So I can grow it, I can move it up, I can move it down, but you definitely don't want to move it down. That creates some chaos in our model. Move it up a little bit. Just kind of play around with it for a second. Get comfortable with what this does. And the red, handle is going to grow and shrink that polygon. Grow and shrink. So we're insetting it when we grow or shrink it. Move it and then scale it simultaneously. Okay, that's the bevel tool. It's pretty neat. We're going to use it a lot. So let's use this tool to help start defining our little wine barrel. I've changed my perspective to view my scene from the front, and I'm going to just do a little bit of a shift here until the top of my, new polygon is resting at what looks to be at the top of one of those first little metallic bands that go around the barrel.
put the thing on D12, please? Or I'll just use this computer, I guess.
Yeah. Now, I mentioned, or maybe I didn't mention, but we're going to use this one tool to create this entire wine barrel. We're going to kind of reuse this bevel tool over and over and over again and kind of stair-step our way up the outside profile of the wine barrel. It's pretty cool. Like all tools inside of Modo, as soon as we're done with the modeling with a step, we're going to drop the tool. Okay, and this is what we have, just kind of a lovely, tapered, kind of fluted surface there. Let's reuse the bevel tool one more, because I want to make this little lip, and I want to grow this next section, and I want to then come out and make this band, and then go back in, and then up, and out, and up, and out, and up, and out, all the way to the top of the model. Yeah, question? Okay. Nope, we're not copying anything. We're just going to reapply the bevel tool. Check it out. This is pretty neat. Yeah, Andy, go ahead.
I'm sorry to bother you again, but it seems that every time I bring up my bevel tool, it gives this little sun shape in it, and it makes like a bullet shape whenever I try it.
Well, I got to see this. What computer number are you, Andy? 25? 26?
25.
Ah, okay. Drop your tool for me. Yep, and hit undo a couple steps. Keep going. One more time. Keep going. That's good right there. Okay. Now, what's going on with Andy here is that at some point he hit the tab key, and you're interactively subdividing your mesh. Hit the tab key again for me, Andy. Tab. That's not tab. That was R. That's tab. Good. And now we can see the faceted edges of our little circle there. You see all the hard corners on the circle? You see those? Yep, that's what we want. That's what we want. Okay? Now you can make this bigger and start your bevel, and you won't get that little star shape in the center of that polygon. Ooh, bad Andy. You just made a football. Yeah, there you go. Yes, 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 yes. Do that, do that. Yes, yes, good. Well done. Okay. So we're going to reapply the bevel tool to continue flushing out the shape of our wine barrel. So let's do it again. Let's add the bevel tool in. You have to start with the selection. If everything is selected, you're going to get a wacky result, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute. But start with that top polygon selected one more time. And this time, we'll click, apply it to our scene. This
I can't rotate the circle.
You can't rotate the circle.
So that's selected, but I don't have the option to.
Okay. There they go. Transform. I think somehow you hit the 0 key, which collapses, or actually it maximizes. That's part of the interface. Okay. All right, so check this action out. We're going to do an inset now. And when we inset it, check it out. We're going to get a new kind of row of polygons wrapping around the circumference of our wine barrel. And this is going to form kind of the little lip of one of those little metal bands. Okay? Pretty cool. Now let's do it to reference. I'm going to kind of line it up here, somewhere right around in there. That's pretty good. Just need a small, these little metal bands really aren't that thick. So if you think about it, what we've established, let's drop the tool. What we've established in these two bevel operations is the height of one of the metal bands and then the thickness of the metal band. Let's keep going here, because now that I have the metal bands established, I can do another bevel, can shift it up and inset it at the exact same time to get the result that I'm after. So we'll hit the B key to fire off bevel, left click on the viewport to apply the tool. And now I'm just going to use my inset handle here in combination with my shift, like that.
Can you do that again, please?
Absolutely. So I applied the bevel tool to that inside polygon, and I'm completely confused, Arthur.
I am
Yeah, do you have that polygon selected at the top of your screen? On the top of your model? Yeah, good. Now click, left click. There it is, yeah. The bevel tool is not going to be applied until you left click.
Oh, and then from here, where do I go?
Pull it up. Blue handle.
I did.
Yep. Oh, I see what you didn't do. Hit undo for me real fast.
Oh, I think I get it. So then you do that, and then you keep going. No, I'm
Yeah, hit undo for me a couple stages. Okay, now let's zip over into perspective. There we go. Now, do the inset first, the red one. Yeah, bring it in.
Like, to where?
Like that, yeah. To reference, too far, because we're just creating the thickness of the band now. Right around in there.
Right there?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, now, drop your tool.
Click.
Nope, drop the tool.
How do I drop it?
Space bar or click on the tool, just like the move tool.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Now fire it off again. Left click. Now you can pull it up. Blue and red at the same time. Anyone else getting stuck? Display what on the screen? Let me go back for a second here. So I've activated the tool. Now I'll left click to apply the tool to my scene, and I'm going to move it up. That new polygon up, and then I'm going to pull it out. Like that. Okay. It's not perfect. That's okay. It's only our first time. Now I think maybe you went a little too far. You went above the metal band. Is anyone else getting stuck here?
I did, but then I accidentally undid everything except for the Okay.
Good. Keep going.
Then once
now-
you're doing this,
Have you made the thickness for the first metal band?
what do you mean?
Did you do like an inset in? Zoom in some. Let's go look at your model.
Do I just CTRL Z to the beginning and make it so
No, you're fine. Let's do an inset. Grab the red handle and pull it in some.
in?
Oh, I see where we are. Okay, yeah, no. Yeah, you want it out because we want to match the taper going that way. That's great. Now drop your tool. Let's fire it off again because now we want to make the width, the thickness of our metal band. Yep, apply it. There we go. Now grab the red handle, drag it to the right. See how we're creating a new row of polygons?
Yes.
Now we're creating the thickness of our metal bands. Okay? Drop your tool. Fire it off again. Click. Pull it up. Ah, there we go. And now we can taper it. Yeah. They're good. Good job, Mallory. Yeah.
Right there. How do I fix that?
Undo. I think when we made the thickness of our metal band, we went too far. Zach, how we doing? The backdrop item in? Yeah. Go back into Moto for me real fast. Add item. Backdrop item. Now down here. Yep. And then add clip. Load image. Oop. Hit cancel for me. We don't want layered image. Load image. There we go. Now where it's on your desktop, right? Yeah. There it is. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, drop your tool for me. Wonderful. And let's hit undo a couple steps. Command Z. I don't know what's going on. What happened here? Let's jump out of our camera perspective and let's look at the perspective. Okay. Hit the A key on your keyboard. Drop your tool for me. Okay. Hit A. Can you select your backdrop item for me? Now drop your tool for me. Yeah, just turn it off. There we go. And hit A. That's weird. Why are we not seeing your backdrop image? Okay, no, you're fine. That's good. I'll tell you what, go into item mode. Yep, item. Click on it again for me. There we go. And now let's try hitting A. Put your cursor like down here. Let's jump over to like the top. Let's see. Okay, interesting. Can you do me a favor? Can you go into your backdrop item? Just select it here. Let's look at its properties. No, it's exactly where it needs to be. Transparency is at 7. Hit the O key for me. Put your cursor here, hit O. Okay, let's go into visibility. Yeah, this is strange. Okay, what I want you to do, let's delete that backdrop item. Let's remake it. Let's just make a new backdrop item. Remember how to do that? Add item, you got it. Backdrop item, cool. Load in that image. Okay, let's change our view to perspective and see what we can see. There it is. Now we're ready to rock and roll. Now make that cylinder again. Okay? Yeah, Dylan, what's up?
Trying to do with the double tool, just reshaping the cylinder so it fits the size right and everything. I got it in that.
Yeah, that's to be expected because you have all the polygons on your mesh currently selected.
So I only want the top or something?
Only want the top. You got it. Yeah. Get the size right for the bottom, then we can work with the bevel tool.
I'm just like, did I get this edge? Because I selected the top and then did the red strip. Did I get this edge sort? Is this what we're supposed to do?
Not really. We wanted to bring it in perfectly with the inset.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, you did an inset and a shift at the same time. Yes. No. Hit undo a couple steps. And what we forgot to do, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Now we're in the ballpark. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, that's good right there. Okay. Now let's zoom in and take a look at what we're working with here. All right, now fire off bevel. Good. Go ahead and apply it. Now this time, I want you to pull in the red handle. Other way.
Oh.
See, ooh, look, see what we're doing? Now we're kind of creating the illusion of thickness on one of those metal bands.
Okay.
Okay, drop your tool for me. Looking good. Drop your tool. No, 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 no.
Oh.
Drop your tool. Spacebar.
Oh.
There we go. Fire off bevel again. Apply it. Now pull it up. See what we're doing? And now we can pull it up and pull it out with the red handle to match the taper of the backdrop.
Okay.
Chris, what you got?
I'm trying to make that second one. I just don't know how to do it.
Okay, you're close. Fire off bevel.
Where's that at?
Right there. Yep. B key also. Okay, now click to add it. Click to apply the tool. Just click right here. There you go. Now grab that little red handle and pull it in a little bit. See how you're kind of making the thickness of the band?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Drop your tool. Turn it back on again. We're going to reapply it. Click. Now, let's pull it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oops, I'm sorry, Cody. Good job. Yeah, good, 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 good. We're getting there. All right. Hold on 2 seconds. Let me help Andy, and then I'll work my way around the room.
Okay. I don't have the top polygon.
Yeah, okay. Hit undo for a second.
Hit.
One more time. Let's get rid of the bevel. And keep going, keep going. That's good right there. Okay. Your polygon's flipped. Hit the F key.
F key.
There we go. Now, fire off bevel. See what you get.
Bevel.
Oh, actually. No, it's, let's go back in time a couple steps. Keep going, go back in time. No, it's facing the right way. Maybe we just beveled the wrong way. Bevel it now.
Bevel.
Okay, I see what's going on here. Drop your tool and hit undo a number of times. Keep going. Drop your tool.
Drop it.
Drop it. Yeah, now hit undo. Keep going. Keep going. That's good right there. That's good right. All right, that's perfect. Now let's go to the top of the screen where it says geometry.
Geometry.
Very, very tippy top. keep going, keep going. Yep, 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 keep going. Yep, right, just right there. And in that list, let's choose mesh cleanup. There you go. And just hit OK.
Okay.
Wonderful. And it did exactly what I thought it was going to do. Now, let's just test to see if this is working. Grab that polygon again. Turn off the scale tool. There you go. Yep. Let's just test it. Hit bevel.
Bevel.
Yep.
Yep.
Now, this may be a false read. Drop your tool for me.
Dropped.
Change your viewport from solid. No, no, no. That one right there. To advanced OpenGL.
Advanced OpenGL.
There we go. Okay. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to double click, delete that, create a new cylinder. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Mine's messed up. It wants to put
Yeah.
it upside down and it wants to make a, I don't know.
Tab key. There we go.
Oh,
That's it. Yeah.
Started it.
Good.
But now the inset won't like go out.
Okay.
Because I could get.
What about that one?
Yeah, this one goes up.
That one goes up.
And this one, like if I
Yeah.
adjust it, it won't even change.
All right, let's do this. Drop your tool for me and hit undo a couple stages. Let's get rid of that. Okay, now that's too far. Yeah, I can see what's going on. Drop your tool. Drop. Now go up to the top of the screen where it says geometry. Do mesh cleanup. Hit OK. There we go. Now try it. Now give it a go. See if it works the way it's supposed to work.
Or should I put it on enter?
No, 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 no. Yep. That's okay. Try dragging it up. Yeah, I think you got duplicate geometry sitting on top of each other, which is why you're getting a funky result. Unless the edges are supposed to be on an inner. I really don't remember. 2 seconds. Yeah, it is supposed to be on the inner, Cody. A word to the wise. A word to the wise. If you don't know what an option does, don't press it. It's like going into your car, opening the hood, and it's like, oh, I don't think I need this wire. Let me just rip it out, right? Yeah, Zach, you had a question.
Can't get any mesh.
Somehow you deleted a mesh item. So you don't have a mesh item over here? Go add item. Mesh. There they are.
No, even with the inner, it's still not.
So I have the cylinder,
Mm-hmm.
but trying to mess with the bevel tool.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that's not going to work. Hit undo. Okay, drop your tool. Double click on everything. Now go to the top of the screen where it says geometry. Tippy tippy top. Pull that. There it is. And then we're going to choose mesh cleanup. What I think is going on is that we have geometry sitting on top. You just passed it. It's one above mesh shatter. There it is. Hit OK. Perfect. Now let's see if it does it again. Now you want to select just the top one. That's a problem. Hit undo. Hit undo. Keep going. Keep going. Okay. What happens if you were to simply just move that one polygon? Just move it. Just move it. Move it up. What happens? Okay, good. Now try running the bevel. See what happens.
Make sure it's proper in there then. So I was having to deal with that. Just
And you want inner. That may be another issue that you're running into.
okay. Now
Click,
top one selected.
click.
So
Now grab the red one. See what happens. Yes, now it's working. Good, good, good. Hey guys, real quick, let me show you something that I'm seeing a lot of inside this room. Cautionary tale when using the bevel tool, and this is something that you have to manage. This kind of falls into the only you can prevent forest fires type dealy bob. Okay, so here's the base of my wine barrel. If I select that polygon and activate the bevel tool, so I'll turn it on. If I left click in the viewport, it looks like nothing's happened, right? I haven't changed any of the values. If you look at the shift and inset, they're both at 0. Over there, I haven't touched those handles. It looks as though I've done nothing. But what I have done behind the scenes, I've added a new polygon. Okay? Let me drop the tool and show you an important interface thing that reminds us that we have two pieces of geometry sitting in the same location. It's going to be very tough to see on this projectors because it's kind of washing out the colors. You'll probably more likely see it on your screen if you have done this. The wireframe color along the top rim of my wine barrel is almost black. It's definitely a darker shade than the rest of the wireframes and the rest of the edge segments on my model. This is a great, great visual indicator that I have two polygons sitting literally in the exact same spot. This is bad, because now our bevel tool isn't going to work, okay? The solution, however, is really, really easy, and this is kind of a global idea that you probably want to honor and do as much as you can. If your tools are acting odd and you're getting a really funky result and you don't know what's going on, here is the silver bullet solution that is a beginning to the end of your problems, okay? Double-click on your mesh. At the top of the screen, there's a pull-down menu called Geometry, and we want to choose the Mesh Cleanup command. Mesh Cleanup does a number of different things. One of the things it does is it fixes duplicate geometry. Just hit OK and check it out. It merged 60 verts and it did a whole bunch of other stuff, okay? And now I no longer have that duplicate geometry or that black wireframe chilling in my scene, okay? Another great way to see if you, in fact, have duplicate geometry, let me do it again, is count the edges. This is a 20-edge cylinder. If I double-click on that top one, and of course it's not going to do it for me right now, if it says 40, I know I have two edges in the exact same spot. For whatever reason, it's not selecting all my duplicate geo at the moment. So every time, I'm going to make a really obvious example. Every time you activate the bevel tool and then click, activate bevel, click, you are adding geometry logarithmically. Well, not logarithmically, but you're duplicating the geometry. You're physically adding a polygon into your scene. Okay. Now, if I double-click that edge, I have, look, in the bottom right-hand corner of my interface, it says I have 100 edges selected. I got 5 iterations of that polygon sitting in the exact same spot. This is a massive, massive technical error that will stop production of our work. Okay? Whenever you click in your viewport, just remember, you have now added geometry. What's the only way for us to kind of, not the only way, but what's a way of getting rid of that geometry quickly? Don't have to delete it. We don't have to start over. Okay? Mesh cleanup. Mesh cleanup is magical. Let's do a mesh cleanup again on my mesh. I'll double-click everything, geometry, mesh cleanup. I'll just hit OK. 240 verts. I usually do mesh cleanup until it tells me there's nothing left to be cleaned. There it is.
What I did to mine, one of the things it said was merge disco values. I said disco values.
Disco values. Yeah, and once it says no elements to be cleaned, that's a usually good indication that your mesh is compliant and they can move on. Now I only have one polygon sitting on that surface. Okay. Question? Okay, with what?
I can't, I'm trying to redo what's on this one on my laptop.
Yours goes back down. What do you mean it goes back down? Let's check it out. Oh, if it went back down, I see what you mean. Hit F. There we go. Now we see all our shapes. Deselect. There we go.
So the first thing I do this. So I click this, right? And I go up, right?
Good. Yeah, good.
And then I click that, right?
Yep.
Click it again. Okay.
Yeah, good. You got
Is
it.
that right?
Yep, you got it. Okay.
Okay. So on my laptop, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that.
Yep. Now, yeah, that top polygon is not selected.
Oh, how do I do that?
Yeah.
What did I
Hit
do?
undo. One more time. Keep going. Now, you got to select that top polygon.
How do I do that? Just like that?
That's one way of doing it, yeah.
And then I do bevel again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I click.
Yep. There we go. Yeah. What's up?
Like when I try to do this, it's like the bevel tool. Like you know how when you said click the top and then adjust this circle right here first,
Mm-hmm.
and like when I try to bring it up, it just comes
Boop.
up.
Goes like that, yeah. Okay. Hit undo. Drop your tool. Fire it off again. There it is. Yeah, Andy, what's up?
Remember that I called you for earlier?
Not really.
The fact that I don't have a top polygon? Yeah, it's happened again, and it's not. I'm not the only one.
Okay. Let's see what's going on. Show me exactly what you did.
Okay, so I used the bevel tool and I tried cleaning up the geometry a few times. So let's go back to the very beginnings.
Aha. I see what happened. Keep going. You got to keep going. I can see precisely what happened.
She needs
There we go. Okay, great. Drop your tool.
dropping tool.
Yep. Fire off bevel.
Bevel.
Yep.
Yep. You want me to?
Okay, now, someone has changed it from inner to outer.
Oh.
I did earlier.
Yeah.
So now I basically undo again and
Okay, yeah. Now try it. Ta-da! All right. All right, all right. All right, all right. Okay, so let's keep moving here, guys. If you have issues, crowdsource your problems, ask your neighbor. They're more than happy to help, okay? Now, one of the things that you're hearing me say, and I can see you doing often, is that you're starting your bevel, right? And you're firing off your bevel, and then you're dropping the tool, then hitting polygon bevel again. You're left-clicking, and you're pulling it up. You're insetting to the next one. You drop the tool, fire it off again, rinse and repeat, right? This is a tremendous amount of work. Let me help you. All of the Moto tools have a modifier that allows us to repeat that tool without having to drop it. It's pretty cool. Now I'm going to do, let me just see visually where I am on my model here. Okay, here we go. So I need to make this second band. So I'm going to fire off bevel, left click to apply it. I'm going to do my inset to grow that polygon to create the width of the next band. But now, watch what happens. I'm going to hold down the Shift key and left click. Now, it looks as though nothing's happened, but I've actually reapplied the bevel command to a new polygon, and I can continue working. So now, I'll do another Shift click. I'll inset in to create the width of that next band. Shift, click, and I'll pull that next one up till I'm to the bottom of that band. Inset it out, shift, click, and you can see how fast this can go. Shift, click. The shift modifier is going to repeat the command inside of your application. Shift, click, and now I'm going to grow out. Oops. I can create the top of the barrel. Yeah. So Shift-click reapplies the command. It basically prevents you from having to drop the tool and reapply it, basically. Shift-click, grow out, shift-click. You can see how fast the bevel tool allows me to very quickly flush out a basic, simple form like a wine barrel. That topmost polygon. I never dropped my selection. And there it is. There's my wine barrel. The shift modifier repeats the command. We can continue using that tool. Good job, guys. Good job. Looks like everyone's getting it. Good job. All right. Let's change it up a little bit. The bevel tool has many applications. The bevel tool is going to take the polygonal, or excuse me, it's going to take the 3D component that we have selected and change its behavior based on that component. We've been working with polygons, and you can see the result that we've created. Okay. However, if we change it to, like, let's say an edge selection, the bevel tool is going to do something a little bit different. I want to go in and maybe add some detail at the top of my wine barrel here. So if I go into my edge selection set, there we go. I want to double click on that edge loop to select all the edges in that row. And now, check it out. I want to fire off our good old friend bevel. This time, when I left click in the viewport, I'm only going to get one tool handle. And if I pull up on that tool handle, now I can create a radius. I can create a transition between two different surfaces on my mesh. This is edges, yeah. One final thing, though. Look at the result that I'm getting. This is called a chamfer, when it's just a straight line. Okay. If I wanted to make a radius, a curve, the round level channel inside of our tool options will increase the radius and the resolution of that edge bevel. Now, there is one property that I need you guys to be very, very aware of. One of the challenges that we have in this room is that this is open lab. A lot of advanced students come in and utilize these same machines. For my advanced guys, they're working with in a different kind of modeling technique that's called subdivision surfaces. So they use a very specific property of the edge bevel command to give them what they need. Check this out. Edge shape is set to round. Okay. We also have a shape called square. This is going to give you that result. Okay? Yeah. Let's take a look. Hold on 2 seconds. What computer number are you, Nathan? 22. Show me. Nice. That's a good one. Okay, hit undo. Drop your tool and hit undo a couple stages. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. There we go. Okay, here's what I want you to do, Nathan. I can see that on your wireframe, you have some duplicate geometry. This color wireframe is darker than the rest. Double click on your mesh. Go into polygon mode, double click on your mesh. I apologize. There you go. Now do mesh cleanup. Geometry, mesh cleanup. Yeah, now try that edge bevel. There she blows. Okay. Yeah, having duplicate geometry is, it's really, really easy to create duplicate geometry when using bevel. You got to be careful. It comes with a certain degree of experience and a certain degree of practice. I remember when I was first starting how to do this, I added duplicate geometry all over the place, right? Okay. Other questions?
For some reason, I can do it on my laptop, but I can't do it on the Mac.
Can you be a little bit more specific?
Like, I don't know, I really can't work on the Mac, but I can do it on my laptop. It's weird.
Get what to work?
Do that. Not the last thing, just the whole barrel. I don't know why.
That is odd. Yeah.
Like the shift key, the shift command isn't working. That was the issue.
So, I don't have any duplicate geometry, and I tried to change this, but how come I have all this rounding instead of just one flat plane?
Right. Change your, if you want that flat plane, change that round level to 0.
Oh, 0.
0, and hit return. There we go.
Oh,
Yep.
I tried 1.
Yeah. Yes.
Every time I try like make it to like an inner circle,
Mm-hmm.
it keeps getting me.
Hit undo for a second. Hold. Oh, went too far. Do that little inset to create the bands one more time.
Little instant.
That one right there. Bingo. Good. Pull it in. Pull it in. That's good. That's good right there. Hold the shift key. Now, don't click on the handle. Click off of the handle. Hold the shift key and click like right here. Right there. Click. Now, pull up. Ta-da!
Okay.
Yeah.
How do we do the edge thing again?
Yeah. Go into edge mode.
Edge mode.
Double click on the top of the, that topmost edge. Okay, click on an edge. There we go. Now, fire off bevel. Yep.
Oh, and then just
There it is. Good. Questions, questions, questions. Andy, what's up?
The bevel tool isn't seeming to work with me. Like, I'll try and make it like the rim larger, but it won't get larger. Like, I'll use the little red.
That's the tuning tool. It's not, you're not using it right. You cinch this. To do the beveling, you don't touch this at all. You just drag.
Show me how you were doing it.
I was going like this.
Uh-huh. Gotta keep going. Keep going. Ah, okay. Another thing I can see that's wrong here. Drop your tool, hit undo.
Drop tool and undo.
Okay, keep going. Now, what did you bevel? Just that one polygon. Okay. Let's try beveling it again.
Okay. Do you want me to just start
Yep.
from here?
Just left click. There you go. Bring it up. Now, pull out in the red handle. Do me a favor. Let's go over into your perspective viewport and see what we can see. Ah, Andy, you're also on the backdrop item. You want to work on your mesh item. That may be influencing why this tool isn't working. Okay. Okay, drop your tool. Drop your tool.
Dropping
Okay.
tool.
Now, let's hit undo. Let's go back in time a couple steps here. Okay. Now, grab your mesh item. Now, fire off your bevel tool. Let's see what we get. That's bridge. That's bevel. Okay, good. Okay, the fact that, see how all these border polygons are selected? That's an indicator. They shouldn't all be selected like that. Drop your tool. Hit undo. Okay, drop your tool again. There we go. Now go to the top of the screen where it says geometry. Mesh cleanup.
I just have issues with this, don't I?
That's okay. We're learning. It's beginning here. Yeah, you merged 60 vertices. Now grab that one polygon. See how it says one polygon? Before we did mesh cleanup, it said 21 polygons. You had 21 versions of this polygon sitting on top of each other. Now let's try beveling it now.
Okay.
There we go. See how none of these are selected? That's what we like. Now, to the red handle. We'll see if it works. It works. Okay. We're working. We're working. How are we doing? You made a mess. That's okay. Messes are good. But do you understand the ideas we're working with?
Yeah.
Great. You're going to make a lot of messes. A lot of messes. Yeah, Demetrius, what's up? Mm-hmm. Hit the tab key for me. Yeah, there we go. All right. Now, can you deselect your geometry?
Yes.
Oop. Just click back here. Just click off the mesh. There we go. Yeah, all your polygons are flipped. Yeah, double click on your mesh. Hit the F key. There we go. Now we can work with them. Okay. So what I would do, I think in this particular situation, I'd grab that top polygon on the top of my cylinder.
Grab it.
Yeah, go ahead and select it. You may need to orbit around. Is there a polygon up there? No, there's not a polygon up there. Okay. I see what's going on. Is there a polygon on the bottom? There is. Okay, great. Let's do this. Make a new cylinder, and it's important that we make our cylinder that's perfectly circular. And then you can use the bevel thing that we were talking about. Yeah. Delete this before you go any further. Delete that one too, because that's not a perfect circle. Remember how to make a perfect circle?
How to go again?
Okay, let's try it. Let's do it. Grab your cylinder tool. Single left click in your viewport. There you go. Now move your cursor away from your tool handles. Perfect. Hold down the control key. Left click and drag. There you go. Now we have a perfect circle. Good. We can move that into position and start beveling it up. Maiku, how's things going? Good? Got a barrel? Yeah. Reset your work plane. That might cause some problems for you. There you go. Good. Raymond, how we doing? Okay.
Second part.
Good, good. Doing good.
But then once it gets to the third part.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, now we grow it to make a new band. Good. Now hold down the shift key and click. Now click like right here. We click off the tool handles. There you go. And we only need to, we don't need to left click and drag, but you know that's fine.
Oh.
Yeah. Now to pull up that one until it matches the reference. That's good. And you'll probably also want to do a little bit of an inset to make it taper. Good, good. Keep going, keep going, keep going. That's good. That's good. Now shift click again. Shift.
Away from it, right?
Yep. Click. Good. Now we're not going to pull it up this time. We're going to shrink it.
Oh.
You can let go with your mouse button.
Oh.
Yeah. Now just grab the handle.
Right here?
Yep. Yeah. Now look real closely. You're making the thickness of the band. That's good. Shift click it.
Oh. Oh, shift click?
Yep. Because now we can pull it up.
Okay, pull it up.
Oh.
Oh.
We didn't do the shift click yet.
My bad. Oh.
Shift click. Oh. Now, the mistake that you're making is that you're holding down shift while you're on the tool handle.
Oh.
You want your cursor to be over there. Now do a shift click over here. There you go. Now, yeah. When you do your click, just do a click. Don't do a click and drag.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. That's going to help. That's going to help.
So just.
Now just pull up because you've already done the shift click, right?
Okay. Oh.
Let's see. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Don't do shift click and drag. Just do a shift left click.
You might want to ask the professional.
What we got?
So instead of just going straight in or whatever,
It's moving.
where it'll
so
be
you can
just
line up
starting
the next
and then
plane.
out that way.
Okay, once you size it again. Okay. and you
It's
wanna-
basically just without going from the edge then back in, just going the starting edge slide, and then it just can go straight back out again.
Yep. That's what we want, right? Yep.
It's just
Good. Okay. Show me. Where are we at?
It's doing that when I'm doing it, because I'm.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Okay. So let's see where we're at. Orbit around to the top a little bit, and let's examine what you have going so far. Okay. Good.
So I go
Yep.
top poly.
Yep. Do an inset. The red handle.
Yeah, that's what I was doing that.
Good. Shift click. Shift. Now click, like right here. Good. Now drag it up. Good. Good, good, good. Right about there.
Okay,
Now
'cause
grow it so it matches the taper.
Keep building up.
Here we go. Now
So
do another
shift
shift click.
okay.
Shift,
Okay, now you're
click.
done. Now you hit shift.
Now grow it out. Good.
You can drag
Shift,
it up.
click. No, 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 no.
There.
Yeah.
You can drag it
Shift, click.
out
Now grow it up.
to that. Okay, now shift.
You got it. You got it. Rinse and repeat. Yeah, rinse and repeat. Okay, other questions?
Not a barrel, but
That's not a barrel at all. I don't know what that is.
it was fun.
It's like a cork or something. A futuristic, like wine cork. I don't know.
Could be,
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. Yeah. Huh? Good job. Looks good. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Okay, let's kick it up a notch. Let's kick it up a notch, shall we? The bevel tool has some really neat functionality. Earlier, we were talking about, or we were making a little Parthenon, right? Pretty cool. If you look at some of the Roman columns, or excuse me, in this case, the Greek columns, there's some really interesting details on those cylinders. Like, let's find a good example here. A little bit. Hold on a sec. I'm not seeing what I want to see. Give me one moment. Ionic columns. Here we go. Okay. All right. That's a very low-res image. Let me change my search settings here. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, check this action out. This is pretty cool. Look at the tops of all of these cylinders, okay? These are classic Greek columns. And there's some really intricate bevel patterns at the top, right? All of this stuff. What I'm talking about is all of this jazz over here. There's some very defined profiles that are going on. The spacing is very uniform. Using the bevel tool, this is not impossible to create, although it is a little bit difficult. It is a little bit difficult. Let me illustrate what I'm talking about. If I was to try to create that profile on a cylinder in Modo, like I said, not impossible, but a little bit difficult, right? So there's my guy. I'll just grab it, fire off good old bevel. Okay, now I'm going to try to make that perfect radius, and man, that could just be a nightmare because then I'd have to do something like this, and then I'm always going to have to guess. Oops, wrong way. Okay. We go out. And this is just not fun. I mean, I'm a professional 3D modeler, and I even hate this, okay? This is just not jiving for me, okay? And I'm never going to get that radius right, okay? It's going to take me a lot of effort to make something that's seemingly pretty simple, right? Modo can extend a lot of our tools when we apply what's called a shape profile to the bevel tool, and it's really, really neat. You guys are going to be doing this for your lab exercise here in a minute. You're going to make a candlestick, okay? Shape profiles are pretty easy to apply. They work in conjunction with the bevel tool and others. Let me show you how they work. Okay. So here's where I am, just a very simple cylinder. Awesome. Let's fire off the bevel tool, and of course we've been examining all of these properties inside of our tool options, but check it out. There's more than meets the eyes. Down at the bottom here, profiles is collapsed. If we expand it, we're going to get a little toolbar. Now, your toolbar may look a little different, especially if your interface has been squished like mine, okay? But these are all bevel profiles. So, for example, if I click on that one right there, fire off the bevel tool, watch what happens when I do a shift. Let's do this. Let's reverse the inset. Okay. Now it's taking that shape profile, and all these are live, by the way. So if I wanted to audition a different profile, before dropping the tool, I can just click on one, find one that I like. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, do an additional shift click now to reapply the bevel tool. And look what's going to be automatically applied again, that shape profile. Now maybe I could do a different one if I'd like and create a very complex piece of geometry quickly. However, what if I wanted to go back to my original kind of bevel environment to work without these shape profiles? Well, it's real easy. Modo works off of selections, right? I'll do a shift click. If I deselect that profile by clicking in the empty part of the browser, now I'm back to my normal bevel operation. The shift and the inset values are going to behave identically to the way they were just working a moment ago. Absolutely. Which the deactivation of the profiles? Yeah. So let me go back in time. I'll fire off bevel. I'll use one of these profiles. There we go. And now to turn it off, just do another shift click and then just deselect the profile down here in your browser. Now, I may have just run into a bug because nothing is selected. Here we go. Now it's working. That's because you probably don't have the content of Modo installed on your machine. Shape profiles. They're pretty neat. They allow us to create very extraordinarily complex shapes without a lot of fuss and fuss. On the back end of Modo, believe it or not, these shape profiles are actually Adobe Illustrator files. So if you wanted to work with your own profile that you created at home, you could certainly do that and import that as a profile mesh, as a profile line into Modo and have it work. It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. In addition, if you want to explore the profiles to the nth degree, check this out. Let me do it one more time. So I've selected that top polygon. I'll hit the B key to fire off the bevel. I'll click on the viewport, and then I'll grab one of my shape profiles. You can see that the bevel tool is changing its function. This part of the interface is it can get a little squished from time to time. This is the navigation menu. Profiles is the root of this hierarchy. And we have a whole bunch of subpanels here, or subcategories of profiles. Like here are some door edges. Okay, so if I was making a door, this is a bad example because it's a cylinder. But if I was beveling out a square and I wanted to have a very specific edge profile that matches a cabinet door, I can do that here. Okay, I've actually used the router bit ones a couple times because these are real-world router bits, and I can create custom molding inside of my all the architectural stuff I have. I can use real-world router bits to establish that detail.
Say we start a cylinder and bevel it, and then we stop doing it. Can we go back to it, or you make a whole new model?
I'm confused.
Okay, so like the wine barrel.
Mm-hmm.
You stop beveling it. Can you go back?
Absolutely. So I go back over here, fire off bevel, got that shape profile enabled. Yes, absolutely. And then you can turn it off just by deselecting that profile from the browser, and we're back. So it's on, and then it's off. It's on, and then it's off. I mean, try beveling that. I mean, come on, that's kind of crazy. Now I have a wine barrel with a lovely architectural detail on the top. It's great. Questions? The dangerous thing about shape profiles is that people often forget to turn them off. Okay? As a reminder, this little browser, if you see a little orange square, that means it's on. Click in the empty part of the browser, it turns it off, and your bevel tool is now working the way it should. Okay? Questions? Okay. Let's revisit the expectations for this week. Okay. On D2L, I've added two different things that you're going to be doing this week. One's a lab exercise that you absolutely can and should do. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to talk about something. Color. Yeah, color. This week I'm going to unleash the power of the shader tree on you guys, okay? We're going to start colorizing our models, okay? This is actually really kind of easy. We're going to have an entire day next week. All we're going to do next week is work with shaders and materials and textures, okay? We're not going to model anything next week for homework and lab. I want to give you all the models. And all we're going to do is materials. But let's start working with materials today. For your homework assignment and your lab assignment, you're going to be expected to go in and apply some color to your polygons. Adding colors to your polygons is really quite easy. As with everything in Modo, it begins and ends with a selection, right? So maybe in my case, I want my metal bands to be a very specific color. And I'm going to make it outrageous just because I can. Okay? So I want to select all the polygons that I would like to be a very specific color. And then I'm going to hit the M key, M for material. Okay? I need to give it a name. Never leave it named default. That actually causes some problems for us. And I want to make these polygons blue, so I'll just type in blue. And then you have to give it a color. Okay? Huh? Just click on it. Look at the OS color picker. Make it blue. Hit OK. And then once you hit this final OK button, our polygons go blue. Let's do it again. What we are doing is changing the color of a polygon. A UV map is a 2D representation of our three-dimensional object that we're going to paint on top of. There's some massive differences. You'll see those much later on. Let's do it again. How about maybe I want these to be red. I'll hit the magic keyboard shortcut, which is the M key, M for material, M for Monterey. I'll give it a good name, red. Of course, we're going to change its color to red. Then we'll hit OK. They'll go to red. Now, if I wanted these polygons over here to also be blue, do I need to add a new material? No, we can just reuse the material that's already been created. Watch, check it out. Again, I'll hit the M key, though. And now, instead of making a new material by typing in a name, it's a pull-down list. Check it out. There's a little arrow over here. And now I can say, hey, I want to just use the blue. Yeah, it's pretty cool. However, a polygon can only ever be one color. Okay? It can only be assigned one color value. So half a polygon can't be red and the other half can be blue. No. That's a good question. That's a good question.
No, but like, is it like aesthetically, you don't want it? Like, you don't want that?
No, on the technical back end, it's defined by the actual render engine that a polygon can only be one color.
So if you tried to render it, it wouldn't appear?
No, you just wouldn't be able to do it. Yeah. Yeah, so really the solution would be something like this. Cut it in half, like that way. Then, but it's going to be a triangle. This one could be red. The other half could be blue. Yeah. Let me be absolutely clear with this. A polygon can only be one color. One color. One color. It can only be one color. I'm joking. It's the end of the night. I'm getting loopy.
So, like, say I was in my barrel thing, and then I made a candlestick that I like and I want to save.
Yeah.
So, can I, like, just, like, copy that into a separate Modo window?
Good question. Great question. And the answer is yes, absolutely. So let's pretend I want to keep this thing for whatever reason, but not keep that thing. Okay? And let's put that on its own mesh item just to make it a little bit more complex. I'll cut it from one mesh, paste it into another. Okay? Let's pretend this is the piece I want to keep. I'm going to create a new mesh object, or a new scene file, excuse me. And now, check it out. I can just drag and drop from one scene file into another. So I can just drag and drop into the empty one. You're going to get this pop-over that says, what do you want to import? Do you want to import all the children? Well, it doesn't have any children objects parented to it, so no. You can just leave it checked. In this case, not going to do anything. You can import all the shaders, which is going to honor all the colors that we've established. Okay? Hit OK. And now, we've moved it. It's right there. Okay. All right. Questions on how to change colors or how to apply colors? Say again? It is. Magic keyboard shortcut is M. M for material. Okay. No, it won't render two colors. I wasn't joking at all. Yeah, I mean, to be absolutely laser specific with this, this is what you're going to get. I mean, a polygon can only be one color. Now, once we apply other elements like procedural textures, image maps, photographs, things like that, we can change the way our objects are going to look. But at the most basic level, as most rudimentary level, a polygon can only be one color. But there are two different polygons on there. There's about 800 different polygons on here. So that's a polygon. That's a polygon. Yeah, a polygon. Can only be one color. That's different. Yeah. Yeah.
So looking after finishing with the bevel tool that I rotate to the bottom, it doesn't have a polygon on the bottom, or at least it's not facing it properly.
Yeah, good observation. So at the bottom of our cylinder here, of our wine barrel, there's an opening. It's a quick, easy way of filling that opening. I've changed my selection set to edges. If you double-click on the border, grab that entire edge loop, hit the P key. P is in polygon, and it's going to fill your selection with a polygon. P for polygon. And now we have a polygon down there. We can continue. This is a first-class citizen. We can do whatever we. Oops, I don't want to profile. Continue working with it. Yeah, yeah, you got it.
If we accidentally delete the top circle polygon, fix that.
Same way as I just added a polygon on the bottom. So if you accidentally deleted that guy, go into edge mode, like I just did in the bottom, double click on it, the P key, you're on your way. Yeah, Cody. I'm sorry, can you say that again? I couldn't quite hear you. Sorry. I didn't mean to laugh. No, yeah. So yeah, you're out of luck. You accidentally closed Moto. So you hit the quit button on accident. Bummer. That's a bad day right there. That's a bad day. Yeah. Save and save often.
Yeah, I saved it, but it just says it can't open it at all.
Bummer. Let me see the error message that you're getting.
Yeah, I saved it at the barrel, and then when I click to open it, this just pops up.
Yep, you're up a creek, unfortunately. This is a redo. Yeah, somehow the file got corrupted when Moto unexpectedly quit or when he closed it down. All right, let's just chat real fast of what we're going to be doing for our homework in our lab. Our homework, you're going to continue using the bevel tool by making a coffee cup, specifically that coffee cup, okay? And this is actually what you're going to be striving to complete for this week's assignment. I have supplied you guys with a backdrop image. You can see that backdrop image in the resources section. There we go. Let me download it. Just take a look-see at it. Here's the zipped archive. You double-click on it. There's the image. So you're going to be making that coffee cup. Okay. Take everything that we talked and learned about with the wine barrel and apply it to the coffee cup. If you look very carefully at it, the coffee cup is utilizing the exact same technique. Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Can I do it without the profiles?
This one you can. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Quick question. So the lid has to be a different polygon.
Yep.
Okay.
So a different cylinder. You'll have one cylinder that you'll create for the base, and then you'll create a new cylinder that you'll use for the lid.
So if you were to go in the program and just move the lid, you'd see the shape of the cup with the
Ideally, yeah.
The sleeve is part of the cup or is
Yep.
it polygon either?
Part of the cup.
So we have to do the bottom, do the middle, do the top, and then stop, and then make another one on top of it?
For the lid, yeah, because if I want to take off the lid, I want to be able to see the inside the cup.
Oh, I see. That's what it says. Mesh out of top of the cup, mesh out of the lid.
You got it. You got it. Absolutely. So this is the goal. Let's go over the specifics of this assignment so everyone's on the same page. Scott was zeroing in on some very important elements. So whenever I say a mesh item, that is a separate mesh item inside your item list. Okay? You're going to have one mesh item that's just the cup. Okay? And then you're going to have an additional mesh item that's just the lid. Okay? That way we can control the lid and the cup separately, right? Pretty cool. Like if we want to take off the lid, we can look inside the cup, right? We can put some liquid on the inside of the cup and we're on our way, right? In addition, you're also going to be creating a little scene for my coffee cup. Okay? Now, a scene could be a scene could be as simple as a coffee table, right? It needs to be on something. It can't be just floating in this gray environment. Whenever we have a scene inside of our a set piece inside of our scene, what we're going to generate is a ground shadow. Those ground shadows are an important visual cue when we render this that gives our shape size. It gives it scale. When we put it next to other objects inside of our scene, it gives it proportion and depth. That ground shadow is the most important element inside of our render to remind our object that this is a three-dimensional object. You got to have it. You got to have it. Okay? It could be whatever you want. A flat tabletop, as you can see from the examples, is sufficient.
So when we're actually in mode, that tabletop, we could literally just do like a rectangle that just stretches all the render scene.
You got it.
Doesn't have to actually be a table.
If you don't see it in the render, you don't see it in the render. Yeah. Okay. In addition, I would like you to also make 3 separate materials for the cardboard sleeve, the base of the cup, and the lid of the cup. So 3 separate colors to define each one of those areas visually. From the examples, you can see what most people have done. Okay. When you're finished with this, please make sure you render your file at a resolution of 1280 by 720.
Can you show us how to do that again?
Yeah, absolutely. And then you're going to be saving a JPEG from the render window when you upload. So to change your resolution, just go to your shader tree, the big purple render sphere, and under the frame section in your properties channel, just change that to 1280 by 720, and you're ready to rock and roll. Okay. And please make sure that you're honoring the naming conventions. I'm beginning to grade files, and there are a lot of files that I got to grade from you guys. I'm teaching 2 sections of 402. These naming conventions really help me process all this data on the back end because I have to download all the stuff that you submit to the Dropbox and then manage it on my own hard drive, and that kind of turns into an organizational nightmare if I don't have a system. So please make sure you use these naming conventions, and it really helps. Okay. Now I think over the course of the next week. I was, I think I may have pontificated a little bit longer than I thought I was going to tonight, so I apologize. But in addition, there's also a small little lab assignment called the candlestick that really is designed to get your hands dirty with these edge profiles, these bevel profiles that we were just working with. Your mission is to make a candlestick. I don't care what it looks like as long as it looks like a candlestick, right? Be creative. Make your own candlestick. This is really an opportunity for you to explore the tools, right? And to work with these edge profiles to create an image and an object that's interesting and compelling to look at. Your candlestick can look however you like.
And we have to use profiles, right?
I would like you to use edge profiles, yeah. You're going to get a much more complex result and a much more compelling result using those bevel profiles, okay? In addition, so you're going to make a candlestick. You're going to make a candle, okay? And you're also going to make a simple scene for your candlestick and candle to live on. Use the examples downstairs to direct you towards what a successful project is going to be, okay? I don't care what color your candlestick is or your candle. It can be whatever color you want. Doesn't make a difference to me, okay? And then we have the naming conventions down at the bottom. The Luxology project file and the rendered JPEG, and you're ready to go. Questions on what we're expected to produce over the next 7 days. Both of these are due next week. The homework's worth 50 points. The lab works 25. Kreb and then Dylan. Those bevel profiles. Yeah, I'm sorry. I misspoke. I think actually technically they're called edge profiles, but we're using them with the bevel tool.
So the two things, getting to those bevel profiles again is where?
It's in that, yeah, so it's right below all of your bevel options. Let's jump back over into Modo. Yeah, hit the bevel, and then it's under here. Some of your interfaces may be getting cut off. So this is what you've probably seen me do this already. This is a little divider line between your tool and your tool options. I usually drag that up to give me a little bit more real estate downstairs to get all the options that may be getting cut off by the size of my screen. And then we can just apply one, and we're on our way. You got it. They're all due at the exact same moment in time. By 5:30 next week. Use your time wisely. Use your time wisely. Questions on the expectations of the next 7 days? All right. I'll see you guys next week.